going to sit for this. I'm in an active obedience right now. And I'm sharing with some of you. I didn't say. Hannah called me out indirectly by saying some of us like to stay in the background. That's me. And now I'm here. And I'm here because what Tiana said as well is about souls. It's not about me. And I need to get myself out the way. And so I want this to be interactive, and I'm hoping that you all patiently work with me as I'm nervous a little bit. But thank you.
Let them use you.
Let them use you. I'm in the right room. So if y'all don't mind, if you just happen to have a Bible on you, if not, your phone. And then we're going to go to Matthew 6:33, which is a very, very popular verse right there. And then when y'all get there, y'all let me know I got it. Amen. Amen. So I'm reading from King James. That's another book. So it says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added on to you." This was a note written and placed on my car door. And it survived 4 hours of rain. And I was like, I was scared at first. I was like, ooh. And I was like, how it rained so hard and this card is still here. It was a handwritten note that said that. Just to share with you all a little bit of my testimony, which I'm a little shy to do so because I'm not the most vulnerable person. But once again, obedience. So God and I had a relationship growing up. And there was a lot of things I didn't understand. I went through a lot of trauma. My family went through a lot of trauma. Some of the trauma that I went through was from infancy. So of course I asked the question, well, God, if you're here, why is this happening? And then also we would go into church. And then I would see what I call poor saints. I got this bill. I got that bill. And I'm like, why these people don't got money? And then I was like, Samantha, why are you drawn to that? Why are you in their pockets? Why are you trying to figure out about money? This question kept going through my mind. And so I made up my own answers. So my answer was the struggle was part of God's way. And then to be honest with you, I thought God didn't like me. I thought he was picking on me. I was like, why are these things happening to me? I'm not doing anything. I'm just living, so he's surviving. And then the poor piece, I was like, well, that's to keep us humble. You can't be ahead of yourself, can't be thinking too big. You got to be humble. And why did I care about money? Well, I heard the saying, money is the root of all evil. So I thought, there's something not right with me. I got a little evil in me because I care about money. But then as the years went on, I got tired of planting that seed in my head. And the fruit was showing because things weren't happening for me. And I got tired. And so I went to the store. I don't know nothing about Bible. Even though I was in church, I didn't know really about I just knew when the pastor said, pick up your Bibles, I'll do it. But I didn't. So I saw this Bible. And I said, this is cute. It's small. It's got leather. This is it. And it said King James. And I was like, okay, sure. Now, if y'all know about Bibles, King James ain't no joke. Yes. And so as I opened up the Bible, I'm like, thee, thou, they. I'm like, what is this? God, I don't understand this language. And I said, God, help me. What is this? And as the faithful God we had, he started planting seeds for me. Yes, yes. Unintentional, just seeds. One of the seeds was a video on YouTube. That's part of my ministry. I love me some YouTube. There's some good and some bad. And there's a gentleman by Myron Golden. Tiana knows. And he is, to summarize it, he is a rich man of God. Very wealthy. And that puzzled me. I was like, you can't be rich and be with God. I was like, no, that's the root of all evil. And he had a video that's called "Why Evil People Are Rich and Why God's People Are Broke." And that hit me. I said, "Wow, that is a good." And I said, "Well, Myron through the screen." I said, "Myron, I know why evil people are rich and broke." I got the answer, Myron. It's because we're supposed to struggle, Myron. It's because we're supposed to stay humble. That's why we poor, Myron. And why do you care about Myron? About money? It must be this little seed in you that's not right, Myron. I'm judging Myron. I love it. And so I go through my Bible, my be, thou, thee, acolytes, like all these. I'm like, yo, I can't. And then I get through Exodus. I get through Deuteronomy. And Exodus talks about these Israelites that were slaves in the mind and the physical. Yeah. And how they just kept, it was hard for God to turn them around. And then I read on Deuteronomy, and that's when it was blowing my mind. God was dividing the land, and God was dividing possessions, and he was talking about interest rate, he was talking about taxes, he was talking about borrowing. And silly me, I was like, what does God know about taxes and interest rate? But I was eating it up. I was like, God, you know about this stuff? And I got excited. And then I got to Deuteronomy 8:18, which says, God give us wealth. Okay, come on. And that changed my whole point of view. And just a fun fact, finance is actually the second most spoken about topic in the Bible. Why that is a rhetorical question I think we should ask ourselves. And so I went back and I revisited the questions I had in my mind about, okay, why do we struggle? Especially the trauma that I was going through. That's a complicated answer for another type of setup. And I asked, why are we poor? And then I ran into Hosea 4:6, and it said, for lack of knowledge, which was my case. I didn't have the knowledge. And then why was I money savvy? Why did I care about business? Why did I care about money? God cares about money. He was about his business. And when someone like me who thinks analytically and thinks money, and when I read the Bible, I read it through a different lens. I'm reading a boss making moves. And I'm like, that's boss moves, that's God. And he made a little bit of that in me. He made a little bit of that in everybody. And it's all right to step into that and not feel ashamed about it. So I also understand the importance of inheritance. As Proverbs 13:22 says. We're not here just for ourselves. We're here to leave things behind, not just for our children, but for the next generation. I don't have children yet, but that doesn't stop me from creating wealth for the next generation. And that's our duty. And I believe that's why we're here. Because part of us is being called to do that. But what I learned the hard way is you can't do it without God. I tried. For many years, it did not work. It was dark. Is the best way I can say it. And I was running in circles. And so, with both of my parents passing, I didn't have an inheritance. They gave me a lot more. They gave me laughter. They gave me the woman that I am today. But that money would have been good. So I'm going to turn that around. Right. Okay, so we're going to go through some slides here. But I'm so happy for Hennifer, and I'm happy for Tiana and everyone else that reinforced this in me. We in a group right now where the Holy Spirit's moving. And so some things I'm going to go fast, some things I'm going to go slow, but it's whatever the Holy Spirit tells me to ease up on. And if we need to go into details, I'm more than happy to talk on this. Sounds good. Okay. I'm Samantha. And I am the CEO and the founder of Savvy Financial. I've worked with a lot of big clients, big nonprofits that you may have heard of, like PBS, George Washington University. I feel really weird talking about my resume, but I did some things. Okay. So we're going to go through three main things. We're going to talk about our foundation, our business structure, and our financials. So let's talk about foundation. My soil was not good. Y'all that's in the Bible understand what that means. What that means is my belief system wasn't right. Yeah. And because my belief system wasn't right, I was producing fruit that wasn't right. Once I changed that, when I tell y'all my life did a 180, when I tell y'all I found my husband within a few years, after dating some my finances turned around, became a homeowner, all these things that was in my mind that I was trying to do it my way. And it wasn't until I changed this that it came, and it came like this. And I was like, ooh, this is weird. And so what is your CEO identity? We're talking to a lot of CEOs here, and I want to share, I've been in a lot of boardrooms. Finance is a very private thing. Y'all don't really get to see the scoop of what's going on behind closed doors. And so there's a client that I'm working with, and they make $50 million a year in their budget. And this is all private funding. They're a nonprofit, let me say that. They're a nonprofit making $50 million. The CEO's making $800,000 a year. I'm saying this so y'all can get a sense of how big this nonprofit is. And all of this is private funding. None of it is government contracts. It's all people who just donate to them. And they've been doing it for 51 years like that. Very little marketing. They're under the radar, but yet they're making it work. So the CEO has been in position for 25 years. And I got there, and I looked at finances and I was like, y'all in trouble, to myself. Because they're doing galas. Their purchase card is maxed out, and it's a $10,000 limit every month. I'm like, these people spending money like crazy. And I thought they did have it because $50 million. But I'm like, no, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, the numbers don't look right. And so I went to her and I said, y'all in trouble. And she was defensive. And she was like, what are you talking about? Because there's a sense of entitlement when you get that kind of money. And she didn't like numbers. She didn't like looking at them. It made her queasy, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, that's your job. And so I said, y'all in trouble. And if y'all keep this up, in 2 years, y'all gonna be out of business. And she said, I don't see that. So what I did was I went and I created a financial statement that she could understand. What I learned about her was, you put a whole bunch of numbers in her face, she don't understand none of that. But you give her a chart, you give her some colors, you give her some arrows, she understands that. So it's very important as a CEO to know what is my learning style? How do I learn? And if you learn a certain way, whoever you employ, they need to work with you in the way that you learn.
That's right.
That's their job. Their job is to make sure you're equipped with what you need. And if they're not, all right. So we're going to talk about business structure. So for protection, high level, what I want to say about protection is a lot of people go to accountants for what they should go to lawyers for. And a lot of people go to lawyers for what they should go to their accountant for. That's good. And you should really try to know the difference. Your lawyer is here to protect your business. Make sure that if you get sued, you still got some money in the bank. But your accountant is there to make sure you don't go out of business. You're paying your taxes. You're not in charge. That's the whole point. Some of them could do a little bit of both, but I'm leery about this. I also want to talk about LLC. That was just dropped in my spirit to say. LLC doesn't protect you if you're not doing business right. I've seen someone had an LLC. Put those numbers in. That's the number? That's how many minutes I'm going? Oh. What, 20 minutes? Oh, okay. So LLC yes, on paper it means you're protected. If somebody sues you, yes, they can't get your money. But if you're not conducting your business as such, there's something called taking off the veil. And what that means is if you are commingling your money and you go to court, somebody sues you, and then the judge sees that, wait a minute, you don't really got a business here. You got some money here, you got some money there. They can strip away your veil. And now all of that you have is for them. So the LLC doesn't mean anything if you don't protect yourself that way. And that goes into bank accounts, which we'll talk about in the next slide. Systems is another big piece of it as well. Systems is not, it is a lot of the technology system that you use. You have to make sure that you use something that you understand, make sure they talk to each other. Make them simple for yourself, like don't try to get all fancy and then you're not using some of this stuff. But system is also like your resources, your people, your time. What is your personal system to make sure things are running accordingly? Okay, so we're gonna breeze through this part. So the goal is when you have a checking account, well, you should have a business checking account if you're in business. Once again, going back to that LLC definition, if you don't have that, your LLC doesn't mean anything. And if you're not making sure you're not commingling your funds, your LLC doesn't mean anything. So having your business structured in a way is very important. So what I like to say is put all your money in your business checking account, then move over whatever you need for personal. Then you did some savings that you put for your taxes and everything of that nature. I would say also that savings should be good, but try to make sure you put some of your money in investments as well. You don't want your money just sitting around. And then optional your payroll expenses. And the reason why it's important for payroll expenses to be in its own bank is because you're exposing your bank account number to people. If you're writing out checks to employees, they now have your bank account number and they could go online and they could do fraud. So a lot of people, they'll get a separate account just for payroll. But another option as well is there's positive pay. So a lot of banks, what they do now is they'll tell you, look, you could get this service, and what that means is if somebody is trying to withdraw anything out of your account, you have to go in and approve it. It doesn't go without you approving it. And if you don't approve it, it just stays where it is. So we're going to breeze through the different types of financial statements. So the balance sheet. The purpose of the balance sheet, if you get out of business right now, how much money do you have? That includes the money that you're getting, the money that you owe, the things that you own that you might sell. That is one of the ones that the bank cares about. The bank don't care about your dreams. They want to know about your money. And if you don't have that, the bank don't take you serious. They're like, you're doing this as a hobby right now, but I need to see statements. So at the very least, you should have a balance sheet. Now your income statement, this is to show the performance of your business. Let's say someone has a t-shirt company and they have 5 different t-shirts. The income statement will show your total income, your total expenses, and then how much it's making. Your job is to go in and say, oh, this one's not doing too well. Let me do something about that. This one's doing really well. Let me invest more in this. This is showing you exactly what is going on in your business. And a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on this, and this is where your strategy comes into play. This is where you're looking to see what I'm selling, are people picking it up? And then there's a cash flow. Return information. You can have a negative profit in your income statement and still be in business. But if you have a negative cash flow, you're not going to be in business. That is so important that people don't pay attention to. Taxes. I am not a tax expert. However, what I will say is we oftentimes trust our tax accountant a little bit too much sometimes. You should educate yourself. I've heard so many stories of someone say, oh, I went to my accountant and they said that I owe this much money. They went to another accountant and they was actually getting a refund. You have to advocate for yourself. I personally, so I'm in the same boat as you are, because I'm not a tax person. So what I do is I take courses to learn about the deductions. And then I call my tax accountant out, like this is deductible. We're going to make sure that's taken care of. But that's for you to do, because a lot of times they have 100 different customers that they got to get through. You kind of the next person in line, he got to get you through. Budget. It's spoken so much, but exercise so little. I was one of those people, I'll admit. Even me working in finance and accounting, if there was money in my bank, I could set my car. No. Some reason when you don't pay attention to your money, it starts walking away.
Yeah.
Like you ever notice, like you like, okay, and you're doing math in your head. You go, I only spent 50 here, I spent 100 here. I got enough money. You get home, you're like, what the heck? It walks away. We have to plan ahead. And so that goes into saying that should be a habit of yours, is to make a budget. I don't spend until I make a budget. Because I learned the hard way, when I don't do that, my money just walks away. And it don't got to be complicated. It could be a piece of paper that you just write, like I said, as long as you're doing it, it doesn't have to be complicated. And of course, there's systems that can help you do that. But the main goal of a budget is so that you're not blindsided. You're not like I said earlier, where'll my money go? If you stick it to your budget, you know where your money went. If you're sticking to your budget, you know how much you should have in it. If someone is trying to defraud you, you know, because you're like, why am I this much in the bank account? It should be more. You would discover things a lot more. Oh, that's it? Okay. So I have a little activity to do with y'all. How many minutes I have? That was fun.
13.
13? All right. All right, so we're going to do a cash flow in real time.
Let's do it.
Okay, why y'all looking like that? So, we're going to pass out dry erase boards. What I want to do is kind of wants to spread out because I don't want anybody in anybody's business. Yeah. As long as we're not on top of each other, because I want you to feel safe to write your numbers down. And if you don't want to write your numbers down, that's fine too. I still encourage you to just at least do the exercise and understand.
Don't be looking at nobody's face.
Exactly.
That's it. That's it.
Keep your eyes on your own face.
And as we're passing things out, I want to talk about the purpose of the cash flow. And it's not talked about a lot. You'll hear about balance sheet, you talk about income statement, but cash flow, it gives you a roadmap, especially if you do it month to month. It gives you a roadmap of where you're going to do well and where you might not do well. And then once again, you don't get blindsided. You're like, you know what? This is going to get not so great a month for me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plan for this. It's all about the planning of it. So I'm going to try to. I thought about it after the fact. I was like, it's easier for me to show you all at the top of the part. All right. So at the very top, we're going to put a goal, an amount that we want to get to. So anywhere at the top of the page. I'm going to do it with you guys. And I'm going to do it real time. So my goal, let's say my goal is to pay off $10,000 in debt. And if you don't know what your goal is, that's good too. That just means that's something that you should think about. There should be a goal. All right. So that's going to be on the top of my sheet. And then I'm going to put what is my starting balance in my bank account right now. So that's going to go underneath. I'm going to say my starting balance. Let's say my starting balance is $2,000. And so for me, my goal is by the end of the quarter, so June, July, August, I want to put $10,000 somewhere. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create columns. June, July, and August. All right. So this is where I get honest with myself. So how much do I bring a month with cash? Let's say I am bringing in 10,000. And these are made up numbers, y'all. So don't feel no kind of way. These numbers, what? Like I'm making numbers up. And then, how much am I budgeted for the month? Let's say it's 8,000. And then, because I want to get to 10,000 for the quarter, that means I have to incorporate some money towards my debt. So we're going to say three. It's supposed to be three. Oh, I shouldn't use that number. But 333. And so then my net cash is, I can't do math right now. Somebody help me.
Can you make the sheet bigger? Hit control and then enlarge. You can do it that way, or you control and then use your fingers to spread them out.
Oh.
Make the screen bigger. You can do it that way. You can change at the top where it says 100%. Make it like 1%.
You can just switch that back to the side.
Or that.
Oh, y'all so nice. I'm just sat there struggling to see this little
Just a
small
little.
print.
We were trusting the process.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so let's go back and kind of recap. So, yeah. This side?
Just so you're not right in front of the
Your
Oh,
own
me,
body.
I'm in there. Thank you. All right.
Thank
you. Yeah, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it to a number that I like. Is that 333? I don't like that. So we're gonna make that be 5,000 because I'm saying I'm gonna do this by the end of the quarter. So that's gonna be $5,000 each month. So then if I do my net cash, I have, it's 10 minus 8 is 2, 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Lord. But I still have my starting balance here of 2,000. So negative 3,000 plus my starting balance of 2,000 is going to give me a negative 1,000. So, rough way to start the week. Am I losing y'all? Getting two? Okay, all right. So now we're going to go in and say July, I'm starting off with negative 1,000. And so this is where CEO moves get done. I say, you know what? This ain't working out. I can't keep doing negative $1,000. Something got to change. Either I'm going to get more money or I'm going to decrease my expenses. But if you're committed to the vision, this 5,000 is going to stay. It's going to be my constant number. But these two, I got to work something out a little bit. And so I made the decision as a CEO because I believe in, I'm starting to believe in abundance. I'm starting to believe, try not to subtract, but try to see how you can add.
Come on.
Because the adding is going to help you with your wealth quicker.
Yes.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring 15,000 that way. And my expenses are still the same. At 8,000.
Would it be easier for you to put a box around it, just create a chart out of that number?
I love Excel. I didn't want to scare y'all with my Excel.
Just highlight it, and make it a table. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna copy. I wonder if I can copy all of it. Well, I'm gonna have to
penny. Ain't no Microsoft users in the room. There's 2 of us in the room left. Well, if we're important, the Microsoft, that's like,
So ignore this. Just don't want to do it. But all right. So back to where we was at. All right. Just to recap, because I know I just went all over the place with this. So I want to pay off $15,000 in debt. I'm starting with a cash balance of $2,000. Yeah. All right. So I would like. So the 15,000 is going to be the new number that I said I'm going to bring in. And then now I'm going to still keep my expenses the same because once again, we don't want to. We're trying to work in abundance. We're not going to starve ourselves. So I'm going to do negative 8,000 still for my expenses.
Here.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to still keep my goal of 5,000 again.
Put net 5,000.
Mm-hmm. And then so my net cash now is going to be 15, that's 795 to is it 1,000? Wait, is it 2,000? Well, you got a negative one starting in July.
So she got a plus a net positive of 1,000.
There we go. You do numbers?
And
Okay. Okay. So it's gonna be 1,000. It's 1,000. Plus 1,000. All right. Yeah. So now we're gonna start August now. So we're gonna put 1,000 on top of August.
Oh, because 1,000 is
It's
going
gonna
over.
move it up now.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be our new on top of August. Yep.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put the numbers so we can see the zeros.
Mm-hmm. And so now I'm like, okay, I really pushed myself to get that 15,000. I don't know if I want to do that again. I'm all right to go ahead and take it down a notch because I came in, and this is cutting it close. You probably don't want to do that, but this is just kind of the way to look at it. There we go.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And we say, you know what? I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just bring the 4,000 in this time. I just want to take a week off, whatever it is. I'm gonna bring. Sorry, not 4,000. I'm gonna bring 14,000 in, but I'm gonna still keep my same expenses.
If you've never made $14,000 in a month, if anybody, I just want to make sure it's so doable.
Mm-hmm.
It's so doable. I just needed to. I'm just sensing, like, oh my gosh, these numbers seem so unreal. In my job, I'm making $6,000 a month. You talking about I could bring in extra 14,000, and the answer is yes. So thank you, Samantha, for making us.
Oh yeah, I'll bring
it's even more.
Yeah, even
And once again, we don't have to. There's different ways of doing it. There are some people that believe in cutting back. I don't take that away at all. It's just recently that I said no. I want to build on my abundance.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna still keep our expenses at negative 8,000, and then we're gonna go ahead and then negative 5,000 for our goal. And so that brings us. Is it 2,000?
Because you got 1,000 that you're bringing over, and you got 1,000 left out of that one.
There we go. Yep. So you have 2,000, and we made our goal.
And you made the goal what?
paying
So-
off that
You know? Okay. I just want to say this one thing. What changed was our mindset.
That's right.
You know, my mindset said, all right, I got to do this. Let me go ahead and bring more in this month. But I had to plan it. I can't just wing it. I got to see it. And I got to walk it through. And that helps. And can I just say this, please? Speaking of CEOs, I am a new CEO. And speaking of knowing your identity, I learned that my faith was rocky. So in the first time I talked about rocky, I had a rocky faith. God partnered me with Tiana. And Tiana is an amazing coach. She has pulled so much out of me, and I knew I needed it. Sometimes you can't do it alone, and you have to be honest with yourself. Because I do believe once you bring things to the light, God will then do something with it.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
So much on that session. I'm going to ask real quick, what was your takeaway? First person. All right, I'm moving on real quick. I don't want to. Yes, ma'am, Erica.
Importance of mindset.
One more time.
The importance of your mindset.
The importance of mindset. I want to. Okay, so here's one of the takeaways that I got. Right. Samantha spoke about the word, her relationship with the word, right? And what she spoke about caught my attention because Tiana spoke about her relationship with the word. What God showed me now, I deal with people. And so what God showed me was, you see how the word will reach you wherever you are?
Yeah.
The word will find you where he will reach you, where he will plant you to grow you. Because Tiana sees the word in number. Tiana sees the word through Proverbs 30. I'm pointing at you and going Tiana. Through Proverbs 31. But Samantha sees the word in numbers. And as she was doing her presentation, God had to show me how wonderful he is. Because I want you to understand that you have to be here to be positioned, to be ready to move. But understand God is going to undergird you, right? Because the absolute wonderful example was Samantha's up here doing her presentation and doing well, right? And doing what she does. But then here's what God said. Let me help her and show people that if you put people in position, like Tiana said, because she said if you can't do something, should we ask for help?
Yeah.
And so God calls Hannah to get up and come around and do the numbers so that she could do what she does. God is going to provide for you. So you don't need to worry. In the application, he begins to say, listen, you don't got to worry about the part that you don't do. Just go do what you do. I will provide a walk around, even if it's the visionary. I will provide a walk around for you so that at the end of the thing, I make sure you look and do what I've called you to do. I'm the people focus. All I see is the people.
That's good. I wanted to point your attention in your book to your business confessions before we bring up our next speaker, and please put down your action plans as you are hearing them. Some of you, as you heard Samantha speaking, you heard, oh my gosh, I need to go ahead and write down my budget. You all heard I needed to start thinking about abundance. I need to, instead of me subtracting so I can make ends meet, I need to start how else can I make more money? I never forget, we went to an event and one of our mentors said, well, why haven't you done X, Y, and Z? And we're like, man, we're trying to, I forgot what we said. We said something like something about a babysitter or something. And she's like, you just need to make more money. I never, she's like, you just need it. And again, the community that you're in, you just, no. Oh, you can't do this? You need to just make more money, right? But in your book, there's your business confessions. And that's why I was smiling, because after lunch, I was supposed to go through Matthew 6:33. And you did it. And it's on this list. So I want you all to, again, have this in your mind. It's right here in your body, like of your business confessions. And it is all the word. It's all scriptures that are related to you as a CEO. So I wanted you all to make sure that you ponder on that. And I'll pass it back off to you so you can let us know who's
coming up next?
Well, we have Nakia Hunter coming up next. I want to interject this before I tell you a little bit about her and she comes up. I want us to be mindful to hear in our ground. Samantha said, how's your soul? Where you're called to is your ground. I have to say this because, again, I'm not in HR, right? But I think a lot of us, because we're in different realms, sometimes things go over our head. This should not go over our head.
Yeah.
Hear in your ground. That's why I keep asking y'all when the speakers are coming, are we ready to hear? How's our heart? How's our mind? Because I need you to hear on your ground. If you hear in numbers, hear in numbers. If you hear in Proverbs 31, hear. If you hear in RHR, if you hear in accounting, if you hear in hear in your ground, right? So we're moving on. Our next speaker is coming. Her name is Nakia Hunter. In a city thriving with potential, a tenacious minority woman named Nakia embarked on a mission to change and challenge the norms in the technology industry. By funding her IT consulting firm, she sought to dismantle barriers and create opportunities for women in the tech world. Despite facing skepticism, her firm purpose due to Nakia's unwavering dedication and vision, today her IT consulting firm stands as a commitment to fostering inclusive. Her prayer is that the legacy continues to inspire and embolden future generations to pursue the ambitions and thrive in the ever-evolving world of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, Nakia Hunter.